All right, so I had my chain and I had been working on my chain, and I think it's time to turn and start working in a row. So if I was working this way, I had been adding chains. I said, okay, we got to the end there, and this is kind of drifting off this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to the other side so that it's all back in my left hand. So you can kind of think of it like turning the page in a book. I kind of like flip it over there. And I am trying to figure out where to put my hook in first. So the easiest way to do this is going to be to look at the V that we were saying that was the stitch. And we say, okay, that V, that's the first one. And I want to put my V into the middle of that one. That's going to be the easiest place to find. So you're going to have just one bit of yarn there, one strand over before I yarn over and pull through it. Now before I do that, I want to show you something else here, is that we could go behind both of those V's we were talking about. There's the V in the front and then there's the bump in the back, this like chain link looking part. And we could have the chain link, that bump, behind our hook and the two V's in front, and that would be the 3 strands that make up our chain stitch. And you can get your hook in there, but oftentimes it's kind of hard to do. You kind of gotta, okay, I gotta make sure I'm behind the first one and behind the second one, but not behind the bump. So if I turn it backwards, there's the 1, the bump, and on this side there's the 2, there's the V. It's starting to break apart, so it's kind of hard to see. And then here's my loop from where I finished my chain stitches. And I could yarn over and pull through those 2, and then yarn over and pull through again and get my full stitch. And I can have that one, and it might be a different look of an edge, but we don't really care about this one. We want to be able to get into getting used to the stitches, and so we want to get to the next row, and we want to make it nice and easy. So we're going to just stab right through the middle of the V. I say, okay, there's the first V, not where my yarn's coming through, but the very first one after that. And I'm going to pull a strand of yarn. I'm going to yarn over and pull through that side of the V. Get those 2 on my hook. With those 2 on my hook, I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2. Oops, sorry, I keep getting my thumb in there. Bad habit. And that's my first single crochet stitch. I'm going to do that again. Try to keep my thumb out of there. I have all my yarn in my left hand. I stick my my hook through the V to the left side. Pull a strand of yarn through. I have 2 loops now. Yarn over and pull through both. Show you again, stab right through the middle, looking, okay, we have that one, we're already in, stabbing for the next one, yarn over, or grab some yarn with your hook. I got the 2 on my hook, make sure it works in the working area, and then I'm going to have that yarn over my hook one more time, twist my hook down so you can put the tip through there, and finish the stitch. Find the next V, there's the V, go right in the middle, put my hook behind my yarn, yarn over and through, 2 on my hook, yarn over, pull through both, there's your next single crochet, stab in the V, yarn over, pull through, 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through both, stab in the V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both, stab through, yarn over, pull through both, stab through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both, stab through the V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. I'm trying to go a little bit faster so I can get to the end of the row here, show you what the end of the row looks like, but I want to slow down again so you can see. So I have that one, you can see it's kind of pulling it apart because it's a bigger gap. I'm going to go for the next V, see that's going to be right here, right through. Get my yarn around my hook so I can hook it through. To have 2 loops on my hook. Whoop, get my thumb out of there. And then I'm going to make sure my working yarn's being pinched here. Good tension. Yarn over, pull through both of those. That's why I like to hold on to mine. Until the work builds up a little bit more, it doesn't hold itself in place very well. So it's very tempting to just touch, touch, touch. Try not to let my right hand, get in the way too much. Make sure that goes to the working area. Pull through both. Get through, pull through both. We're getting close to the end here. My thumb's creeping back in there again. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left on this one, and then we can look over here. How many did I do? I can count these V's. I did 1 V, 2 V, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's 16th. And at the very end there, that'll be my last one that I work into on the next row. But I got 4 more here. I'm going to go through that V right in the middle, pull some yarn through it. I've got 2 on the hook. I'm going to make sure I put a strand of yarn through those 2. Through the middle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Through the middle, yarn over, pull through, 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through both. Last one, through the middle, yarn over and pull through, and now you see in this last bit, it's just the knot. So nothing good to work with there. We got yarn over and pull through both. So because we don't have another V to work with, this is too tight to go into. We don't want to add anything extra to it. We're going to want to go to the next row. So to go to this next row, we're going to work along the V's again, but in the opposite direction. So we're going to do that thing where we flip the page of the book, but we're going to make 1 chain first, and then we'll flip it. Now that it's flipped, we can start working the opposite direction. So we can have all of this, I'm going to do a little bit more here. We can have all of this into our left hand. My zoom is being a little funny here, sorry. And my right hand just holds the hook, and we can start working back across the way that we came. And the first one I want to look into, you don't want where I had that, the stitch that I just made, the chain stitch. I want to work into where the yarn isn't. So I'm going to go into the first stitch. I know this will depend on the pattern that you're doing, but I'm going to go into this first one here. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through both. Now when I say I'm going into the first stitch, I'm going through behind both now. They said there was that option for the chain, right, of where you could put your hook through. And if I can find it, I'm going to say, okay, behind the 2 V's, there's like this hole here already, and if you kind of look further along, you say, oh, it wraps, and there's this hole here, and there's this hole here, each one a little bit of a gap. That's where I'm going to start to put it. But if I'm looking from the side, I go here. If you look at the top for that V, it's behind both of them now. So that's where I'm going to put it to yarn over the first time. That's how I get my 2 loops on my hook, just like with my chain, and I will yarn over and pull through both. With my chain, my single crochet. Oh, it's been a long day, huh? All right, so we're gonna have that through your work, behind both for the V, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both, just like we were doing on the previous row of single crochets. Make sure I get my words right there. Pull through, behind the V, yarn over, pull through, 2 on the hook, yarn over and pull through. So the rest of that's the same, it's just where we're putting the hook in the first place. You could put your hook through this V again and just go with that 1 strand, but that would be considered working in the back loops only. You're not working through both loops. And now that it's easier to work through both loops, I would recommend doing that first to get used to this one, because this is the standard one. It's working behind both loops. And then we can work on separating our front and back loops later. We'll talk about that in a future time. So that's as far as I've gotten so far with this one. I'm going to keep going down my row. I'm going to insert behind the V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both, and I'm going to go all the way across until I get to the end. When I get to that last one, this one here, I'm going to do that last single crochet stitch into there, and then before I turn my work around, I'm going to do another chain. So I will keep on working on this. I'm going to get my my height going for it, so you can do a bunch of rows, and we can see if we can start building up some samples to turn into, I'm going to try to turn mine into a scarf, I think. Maybe that wall tapestry. We'll see. So I will see you guys next week.